And welcome back to our KTBS Plus live streaming service, everybody. We are continuing our coverage of the road conditions all throughout Shreveport and Bossier. Of course, let's flip this camera around as fast as we can to show you guys exactly what you guys can expect driving through this weekend. God, I'm trying my best to look at there. There's a little good zoom right there so we can take a look at what we're driving through today. Okay, to give you guys a little heads up, if you guys are just joining us, this is the first thing you're seeing in the morning. Road conditions are the best they've been, I would say, and probably since last Friday. A lot of that ice has melted. A lot of that ice is off the road, as you can see in some spots. But the main thing that we have to focus, that we have to be careful about, this is the thing that I kind of touched on all morning long, is that a lot of these areas look really good today. Obviously, you still have to, you see the ice on the side of the roads, but a majority of the roads are kind of cleaned up like we're driving on right now. But there are still numerous areas around the Arklatex. Excuse me, just had a little hiccup. Around the Arklatex that are icy. These are the areas that are surrounded by a lot of trees, which if you see right in front of us, we're about to go over a super icy spot. And so what we are trying to inform people about is, and kind of what we've seen on the roadways even this morning, as we're slipping right now, kind of trying to get some traction, a lot of people will go normal speeds today. They will hit the 45s, they'll hit the 50s, they'll go and they'll be driving normally like it's April 30th, I would say. Just having a good time, enjoying the roads. And you come and then you hit an ice spot like we're about to see and you slip, right? That is what we're trying to avoid today. So the advice today would be, guys, just drive slow. Drive a little bit slower. Today is going to be the last day you guys have to kind of deal with this. We want to make sure that if you guys got through the treacherous conditions this weekend, that you guys have made it through the hardest part. We are at the finish line. All we have to do is get through today. The temperatures are going to warm back up. I would even say just make it to this afternoon, and when the temperatures are going to continue to rise. If you guys are headed out to work this morning, that's where just take it slow. Maybe leave a little bit earlier if you guys are watching right before work. Of course, that sunrise, as you guys can see, is already coming up. It does look beautiful right here, but there is still tons of ice on the road. We have kind of had conditions. I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, the driving expert, the driver so far this weekend. Jeff, how have you kind of felt the conditions change from this weekend into today?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, yesterday, everything started to melt. Everything got really good. Unfortunately, a lot of that water still stayed on the ground. Everything stayed kind of moist. And now that we've had overnight, or this morning mainly, starting at midnight, it started getting cold again. And now we're down to 26 degrees again. So everything is starting to freeze over. All that water oh, look at this. So we've got a guy right here stuck that's trying to get up the hill. Just now, it seems like in the last hour, it started freezing this water again. And like elevated hills like this that still had water on them are now starting to freeze back over if that water didn't drain off.
What's so tough is we just came up this hill. We just came up this hill. And that is such an unfortunate thing to see. As we're kind of taking it. Just kidding.
We're taking it slow.
But yeah, this is exactly why we're saying, just because some areas look really good, other areas that are surrounded by all this natural shade, all these trees that are around here, keep the ground cool. They don't allow the sun to obviously hit the ground, and
we just slid right through that light in front of us.
Yeah, and so
it's all fun and games until you want to stop.
Exactly. And so that's as we kind of reiterate, we're showing you guys live examples of exactly what's going to happen. So imagine taking that hill at like 35, right? And then you come down the hill. Sure, you would have gotten down the hill just fine. And then you try to stop at a light like this, guys. I mean, you're going to see once this light turns green, we're going to have trouble starting up and going. It is extremely slippery around certain intersections and different things. And so it's really, really, really important that you guys are making sure that it's safe, that you guys are taking things slow. But it's different driving, I will say. I would say there was more of a worry yesterday and even the day before about, okay, there's so much ice, there's so much snow on the ground. And honestly, we actually took off pretty fine from that.
Yeah, we did.
We took off pretty fine. Today is, guys, it's honestly, you will be able to drive through this. There are certain situations that, like we just saw, the car going up the hill, it may have some difficulties, but if you guys take it slow, if you guys hit good parts of the roads, and or if you make sure that you're checking out your neighborhood roads before you leave. But if you get onto somewhere like a Uri or a North Market or somewhere where it's like pretty well driven, these ruts in the road that you're seeing in front of us allow your car to, I mean, minimal slippage, really. I think the most we ever slipped, even throughout this weekend, was on what were we on, I-220? Was that?
Well, we're on I-49.
I-49,
northern part of it. We were sliding.
We were sliding all over.
They count my choices when we got on that road.
Yeah, we were sliding all over the place. And so that was definitely not fun. But I mean, but still, we were safe. We were the only people behind us. Really, we were following a convoy of SWEPCO units, and we were a pretty good distance behind them. And even then, when we were driving slow, we were catching a lot of slipping and different things like that. And so just going through here, showing you guys some of the neighborhood roads, because to be completely honest with you, when we turn here on Uri, am I correct?
Yes, Uri.
When we turn here on Uri, you guys are going to see the conditions that I was talking about earlier, where it's like, okay, you guys got this, right? These open roads and the ice is off of the side.
Now, we've still seen a little bit of black ice on Uri, and now that it's gotten cold and stayed cold this morning, we might see a little more. So the important thing is, like, we have a green light right here, but I'm going to slow down anyway, because not only do you have to drive correctly and watch out for yourself, you have to make sure everybody else is. Like, I can't tell you, several times we've had a green light, but then somebody slid through the intersection right in front of us. So you have to watch out for other people too that aren't paying attention.
Yeah, that was a really big thing over the last couple of days. Is we would be downtown setting up for a live shot, and we would be at maybe an intersection or something like that in downtown, and we would see a truck just fly, like they have just ice spikes in their tires that they have maximum traction in, and they would just fly through. Look at all of the moisture on the ground right here. This is the stuff that we're telling you guys to be really careful around, because it looks like, exactly, it looks like that this is just regular pavement. It might be just water sitting on the ground, but this is, in fact, is this classified as black ice?
Looking actually, I don't know. I guess at night when without all the light hitting it, it would be black ice.
It would be black ice, right? Just because it's kind of hard to tell. Now, early in the morning when we have all these reflective lights, it just looks like there's just a bunch of moisture on the ground. But this is the stuff that we're talking about when we should say, be slow today. If there's one last day that we have to be slow, we can handle it. We can get through today, even get through until this afternoon, because once we have one more day of, I feel like, heating up, the road conditions are just going to get even better. We might see tomorrow where there might be a little bit of ice left on like the side of the roads over here, but I would say even the medians and different areas that are going to get driven on a lot today are just going to be completely slush, like we saw yesterday. But yeah, still great areas that we should be able to focus on and really pinpoint which areas you should stay out of. I would say the hills that we've kind of seen so far today, those have been our big red flags. If we want to start planting those down, those big red flags. In all honesty, we haven't seen a lot of gone over many overpasses today, have we? But we've kind of seen over even the weekend, those were taken care of well. I mean, they were salted, they were bladed, right? They were just kind of, we did not have a trouble on any like big overpasses. Now, we did not go over like a Cross Lake Bridge. We did not go over like 31, 32 or anything like that. We were going over like the small overpasses or bridges like outside of downtown, different things like that. The Texas Street Bridge, different things. Those areas were pretty amazingly taken care of. And so I can imagine that probably today, a lot of things will be reopening back up, or maybe as early as tomorrow, things will start opening back up. But of course, I think that you guys should, of course, keep in line with what we have on our ktbs.com, our KTBS Plus app. We will have all of those updates for you whenever we're figuring out what roads are now open and closed. I think another thing that we talked about, we kind of touched on yesterday, is how amazing the first responders have been throughout this whole process. I mean, we have gone so far. Today day 6 of us covering this weather. It really is, because today's Wednesday, right? We started covering it Thursday of last week with the going to the car.
Yep.
Yeah, before it came in, we started talking to what were those people called?
Moore's Tire.
Moore's Tire, Goodyear. Yeah, Moore's Tire Service. We talked to the guys out there about how to keep your car prepared, making sure that you guys have your air the air in your tires, I should say, all the way maxed out. All of those great things. And then going into what we've seen, but we have seen so many first responders be active, so active. We've seen them just sitting and
hard to go a block without seeing one.
Exactly, right. They're everywhere. And that is to help out. Even like we saw the one guy on the bridge or on the hill there. It's for situations like that. They don't want anybody to get stranded. They don't want anybody to get in any wrecks. They don't want anything like that. And in all honesty, we haven't really seen in our area any big wrecks. Now, the first day, I think we saw a few minor little fender benders. We saw some people hit curbs or get stuck in the median or different things like that. We've seen some abandoned cars just left in the middle of a roadway. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We were driving the other day, and there was just a car sitting in the middle of the road
up there at Shreveport Barksdale.
In Shreveport Barksdale, and we thought, oh, they must have just gotten stuck. We drove around them. There was nobody in the car.
Yeah,
it was like, wow, they just left it there in the middle of the road.
I'm done.
Yeah, literally. I that was pretty insane. That was definitely insane. And it was a nice car too. I thought it was like a Tesla or something. Regardless.
Yesterday, we saw somebody on our stream got stuck on the Texas
Street Bridge. Yeah, that was intense too, and that was watching the people all try to help him get over, and eventually it took him about 5 minutes. It was a great little segment right there. Just watching those people take care of that.
Too, you might be a small fender bender, or you might just get stuck, but then you have to get out with all the rest of the traffic and try to. That's where it gets dangerous.
Exactly.
You're out of a protected vehicle, and then it's dangerous because everybody else is going to have to avoid you. You might get hit. So.
Yeah, because the last thing that we need, or anybody really needs, is for someone to get stuck, for you guys to get stuck, and then all of a sudden we're in a situation where you guys are outside of your car trying to push your car to get some traction, and then God forbid someone comes down in the other lane, they lose traction, and then it's a whole mess, right? You don't want your car to get hit. You don't need to get hit. There is just way too many. But I think, honestly, we passed a lot of that. I think we've gotten through the really, really icy, bad days. A lot of the main roads look just like this, where you see a lot of the road, you drive slow, you keep your tires in the ruts, and you should be okay. I think it is always good to note, though, that like not every car can handle this, right? I don't know which cars. Like maybe don't drive a moped around. Like I don't think that would probably be good, or any motorcycle that probably wouldn't be good. But like if you have a car and it has some tires that don't look like you just raced an F1 race or a NASCAR race or something like that, you guys should be pretty decent to drive. Of course, make sure you guys do your own research in your own neighborhoods. We are not going to be able to see every single little neighborhood road. And so just making sure that you guys are just walking out of your house first, looking down the road. Okay, can I see some pavement? Am I slipping around a lot? If so, maybe, keep it in until around noon today, whenever temperatures get back into the 40s, I believe I heard Brian talk about this morning. And then we will be good to go once again. But it's been a nice couple of days. Obviously, we have had power and things like that, so we did not have to brave anything like that. But just being able to get out and stay on the roadways and keep you guys informed. As a reporter, it's been a lot of fun, honestly. It's been unique, and it's been an adventure for sure. There have been ups and downs, a lot of freezing cold a lot of early mornings.
Yes.
But I think this is what you do it for. You do it for the very last day, the very last live that we do. It's, hey guys, I think we're going to be okay at the end of it. It is interesting to think about though. We do, since I've been here, we've had one of like a situation like this at least once a year. We have a big snow or ice. I came last year and my car could barely make it to work. I remember that situation. And I had to leave my car at the station for a couple of days and have my mom and her big truck come and get me and take me home every day. But it is just so much better to be able to have this again. And one, I think we handled it as a city of Shreveport and Bossier, or an area, I would say. We handled it pretty well. We did have a lot of power outages and different things like that. SWEPCO was, I mean, we saw the amount of SWEPCO workers that were out there at that staging station. I mean, if we had to give them hundreds, probably a couple hundred workers all staged at the fairgrounds. They were all working so hard on getting everybody's power back.
Yesterday, DeSoto Parish. Now, shout out to DeSoto Parish. I know y'all still, a lot of people have power outages down there. In fact, my home is one of them. But they're now down out in force in DeSoto Parish, cutting up trees and putting lines back up. So hopefully you guys will have your power up soon, hopefully today.
Yes, hopefully that is a big thing. Another thing that we haven't really seen a lot of, kind of piggybacking off of that, is like we haven't seen a lot of trees falling down in the areas we've covered. Now I know we said in DeSoto Parish it's a different story, but we did not make it out there very much. And so to see that all these other places around here maybe didn't get the worst of it is definitely a plus to be had as we continue. You guys can kind of see, is this still Uri? What is this? Yeah, we're still.
It turns into Spring Street.
Yeah,
somewhere right here. But
I remember last year. This is where right here. This is where Rick Rowe
spun out.
Yeah, this is where he spun out, and you guys did a bunch of lives right here. There's a ton of people on the opposite lane where that truck is just now passing the what is that for you guys? The left side of your screen, where these other cars in the left side of the road over there. They were trying to come up the hill, and they were taking it, I mean, maybe in the 30s, just trying to get up the hill, and they were spinning out instantly. That ice was really, really, really bad. We did a bunch of live shots from there, kind of watching people. I remember there was an 18-wheeler that got stuck last year.
Lost traction.
Yeah, and they spent hours trying to fix that. We did not see a lot of that happen. Of course, they stayed on top of this one. Yep. I think it is important to, go back to, there's a lot happening up near Ruston right now, though. If you remember, all of those trucks backed up. I remember reading a KTBS 3 notification last night saying that the Cajun Navy was up there delivering meals to people because of the different road conditions and different things like that. And so many great things as we continue to go over. But guys, you guys have seen the road conditions. We'll continue to update you guys as we go. But for right now, we hope you guys have a happy and safe rest of your day.